We're going to get a bit more analysis now from France 24's James Andre, who joins me on set. James, what are your thoughts here? Is this just an isolated incident, or could this boil into something more inside the United States?
Well, quite clearly, this specific incident does appear to be someone who's mentally disturbed and who indeed decided to, attack these people in front of this event. And yes, of course, this is an act of anti-Semitism, and it is very clearly linked to what's happening in Gaza right now. But the fact of the matter is, we have a very tense situation in the United States right now, because indeed the Trump administration has basically cracked down on any form of dissent or at least protesting when it comes to the war in Gaza. We've seen this on campuses. We've seen people being expelled for what they had said in these pro-Palestinian protests. And this, of course, does mean that we have a very heavy lid, I'd say, on any form of protest against what's happening in Gaza right now. And if you combine that with the fact that you have a lot of firearms in circulation in the United States and mounting tension around these issues, and at the same time a very, very strong, blockade around any pro-Palestinian voices or any, in the United States, that does create a situation where indeed there could be, violence to come and other acts of the same nature due simply to frustration mounting in the country for those who are, indeed against what's being carried out in Gaza right now.
And of course, all of this comes as there's mounting international criticism on Israel's policy, not just in Gaza, but also in the West Bank.
Yes, absolutely. Well, we just saw the Israeli foreign minister there talk about, linking this attack to the rhetoric of European countries. But indeed, what we are seeing is mounting frustration. I mean, there 47 people have been killed in Gaza, according to local authorities, since this morning were under Israeli bombing and raids and attacks. And indeed, since Israel has stated its desire and ambition to take full control of the Gaza Strip, and indeed has plans to displace Palestinian people. We're talking about 1 million Palestinian people in Libya. These are the recent ideas that are being floated by the Netanyahu administration. Well, yes, there is mounting criticism across European countries, in particular the European Union is talking about indeed suspending its cooperation accords with Israel. But this also comes at a time where, just yesterday there was an incident in which the Israeli army fired in the air close to diplomatic representations who were visiting the city of Jenin, where there has been a violent crackdown in previous months by the Israeli army, who's taken control of part of the Jenin refugee camp, displacing tens of thousands of Palestinian people there again in the West Bank. So we have a situation where Israeli is basically stepping up the violence, and what Jean-Manuel Barrot is saying, is blind violence and the humanitarian blockade and turning Gaza into death trap, pressure mounting in the West Bank, and indeed the EU and various countries like France, Britain, and Canada, who are talking about actually, taking what are effectively sanctions against, part of Israeli interest. And this, of course, creates, I'd say, tension between the countries. And of course, this shooting takes place in this context with, Jean-Noël Barrot, for example, saying this morning that indeed this was a heinous act of anti-Semitic violence. But in the meantime, there is clearly a shift in public opinion and even foreign policy when it comes to Israel's staunchest allies.
James, thank you for that. That's France 24's James Andre.